Hey, sports fans, Larry Eder, Run Blog Run. This is your favorite program, Socialing the Distance. We have a real treat today. We have Ruth and James McIlroy. Ruth is the race director. James is the elite coordinator at the Antrim Coast Half Marathon, and they had a world record on Sunday. Good to see you both.
Laurie, great to see you again.
Thank you.
Hi, Ruth.
Hi there.
So I'm going to destroy Yalemzerf's name, but Yalemzerf Yehualaw ran 103.43 on your course. That is smoking. She's the first woman under 104. She runs for the NN running team, managed by our friend Jos Hermans over in the Netherlands. But congratulations for having a world record on your course. That means you guys are pretty fast, huh?
Pretty fast and pretty exciting, Laurie. So the course is actually minus 19 meters in gradient, so it's just legal. The NN guys actually said, "Why do we start up a hill? Can we not move it?" But I says, "Well, we could start it up a hill, or we could move it up to the top of the hill, but then it's going to be illegal." So that's why we've got to start. So it is fast. It's just within the tolerance, and it's the course. I guess it takes in Larne Town, so it is the Antrim Coast, but that's referencing the Antrim Coast Road, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, so it's one of the most beautiful roads in the world. The course, it takes in a town, a harbour, and then it goes out after 4 miles onto that iconic Coast Road, which sweeps the whole way down to Ballygally, where obviously Gary Locke and Paula Radcliffe also live, so there's a fine running heritage there as well. And it's and then you turn at Ballygally and you've got the last 5 miles into the finish, which you can actually see the whole way along the Coast Road, because the finish that the James Chain Memorial Tower, which is an Irish round teak tower, so it's all quite rustic and iconic. It's where the Game of Thrones was filmed, a lot of the locations as well. So you've got 100-meter cliffs on your left hand side, and you've got Scotland 12 miles to the right. So it's quite beautiful.
Well, Americans would like that too. The Game of Thrones thing is an addiction, a 12 step program over here. Ruth, how many runners did you have this year?
We had about 7,000.
Wow, now is that
7,000 entered. So
how many years have you been doing the race?
2.
Wow. And is this an area that's easy to get to?
Yeah, it's not far from either Belfast airport. There's a ferry port in Larne Town itself, so it's easy to get to. Just 30 minutes from the Belfast airports, 30 minutes from Belfast itself. So there's plenty to do and see. And as Jim says, it's at the start of the Antrim Coast Road, so you've got just the whole way up the coast and all the beautiful landscape that's there.
So, Ruth, we're getting to this is the second year of the pandemic, and things are evolving. And finally, we're able to start having races come back. Did you all stop doing races in Northern Ireland, or were you able to do it during the pandemic?
We had quite a tricky year last year. So our race was initially planned for March. It then got postponed back to August, and we were planning our mass and elite race. And in the end, we weren't allowed the mass race, and we just had the elite race last year. This year, all the mass events are coming back.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. NN running team is one of the top teams in the world. And if they decide to bring some athletes in, that's a big kudo for your race. What is it about your race that they liked?
Well, I guess, Laurie, it was a year actually in the making, that because they were bringing athletes last year and we get chinned, we couldn't get them into the country. We had regular contact. I had stressed it was fast. It was very, very fast. Now, it is partly coastal, so you have to, you're relying on winds as well. But I guess they ultimately they took a punt on it, because as a brand new World Athletics event, you're never quite sure. But I think obviously now, with 60-minute flat in the men's and 63 minutes in the women, I think that's been vindicated. It's a great course. They'll hopefully definitely be back. But yeah, they I guess you could say, as a brand new event, you're always taking a slight risk, but they had seen a lot of the footage from last year with Sir Mo Farah winning and so on and so forth. They loved the scenery. I'd spoke to them a little bit about it, so yeah, they and I think as well, there's not that many races on. Well, there was, maybe there's not that many races on that aren't round loops in a park, or so on. So that was obviously probably come into their thought as well. But no, they were, to be quite honest, all the elite athletes were very, very easy to work with. They were amazing, actually, because, Laura, they did my job for me. A lot of them built the field. So I was getting a lot of help from Irish athletics, UK athletics, American track and field. So everyone was weighing in, saying, no, get him, do that, do this. So, so yeah, it was good. It was good. And then obviously a good after party after it.
Oh, well, that's always important. That is the judge.
You know that?
I'll have to come and, do a review of that for next year. Ruth, what did you have to do with the citizen runners for the pandemic? Do they have to wear masks? Is there a distance thing, or how are you guys dealing with that? I'm just curious.
We were able to invite them basically to do a lateral flow test before the race. Okay, and that was a big thing. So every runner was invited to do that. They could register against our event. They had to do a self-report questionnaire. So anyone who had any symptoms was obviously advised not to attend. And then everyone else was to do a lateral flow test to pick up those who may be carrying the virus and had no symptoms at all. So we hope we followed all. We had a lot of help from the Department of Health. All of the sporting bodies that we were in contact with gave us some guidance on our COVID hygiene policy. And we hope we've made the event as safe as it can be.
How do you do the aid tables in a event in this kind of time period? Is there any difference with that? Or the cups just all put out and people grab them?
Yeah. So there's less handling. Things like we couldn't have a bag drop this year, so there was nowhere for people to leave kit. They just had to leave it in their car. Yeah. We had just a big bins full of T-shirts. They just had to go in and take one and move on. Same with the medals. Okay. In a way, a little bit less labor intensive for us. But yeah, and things like that. Actually, I'm not sure that I'll drop when we have to drop those sorts of things.
Yeah, that was my next question. Was there's got to be some things that we're going to learn from all this. It's like with the track meets right now, so many of the pressers are done remotely, and in the US we had some strange ones of doing it where we had to write the questions in. Other times we were doing stuff with Zoom, but I started doing Zoom in February of 20, and we do like 4 to 6 Zoom interviews a week, and it's an easy way to get a hold of people and kind of catch up. Did you expect Yalemzerf to set a world record? Was it?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, you did?
I did. Okay. The reason why, I'll tell you why, Laura. I went out. I took them around the course on a bike, and Roy Hornweg was pacing, and he stopped and had a chat with me for about maybe 5 minutes, and they still came in under 80 minutes. I was like, my God. Now I was a fat 800-meter runner, as you know, but that was still very fast. Yeah. But the way they talked about it, when you're around athletes, you're very, very confident. Yalemzerf was probably slightly angry as well. She didn't, she had just turned 22. She was very upset that she didn't make the Ethiopian Olympic team.
Yeah.
So it ran Istanbul at the start of the year. She had ran 64:40. And then she was coming in angry. She ran a PB over 5K. She ran a 10K PB. So she ran 2 PBs. She's still at the start of her career, let's be honest. She's just turned 22. I believed our course was very, very fast. I don't want to be disrespectful to the other course, but certainly I would have it as one of the fastest courses in the world. But I knew if she was coming in with that mindset, now it can always go wrong because you can't tap in something like that. You have to get your pacing right. I know from 50 to 20 days, she fell way back in Istanbul. So I knew if everything went the right way, we were going to be very, very close. And as world record she did run a PB of 38 seconds. I was like, well, you know what? He would just be getting older. He's probably going to do that as well. You know what I mean? So
Oh yeah, no.
I think all the arrows were looking the right way, so it was just then setting it up. Very, very good pacemakers. Mo Ali was moved out of the men's race into the women, so it's great international male pacemakers as well, which really helped. And yeah, I mean, I was commentating and when she went through 10K, the UK all-comers record's 30:51. She went through the 30:20.
Oh wow.
So that was the fastest 10K ever in Great Britain, and she was doing a half en route to half marathon. She'd smashed it. So I was like, right, well, what's going to happen here? She's either going to run 80 minutes or she's going to run something ridiculous, because it was and then the wind on the course was not like a very gentle breeze from the northwest, which meant as soon as she turned at Ballygally, she had a gentle breeze of 5 miles on her back. So it did it. Like any world record, everything has to go just align, and everything did align. So, but I would say, in terms of the course, last year there were 62 runners in the elite race, and some of them were aging veterans. I don't think they'd mind me saying that. There was nearly 60% of them ran personal bests.
Wow.
So I'll have to look at the numbers in the elite this year, but I know, obviously, with the world record race in the women, a lot of the women have ran PBs, and certainly Mark Scott ran a PB, and a lot of the guys behind him. So,
wow, Mark, that's good.
Yeah, so he ran 60:34.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was a 5-second PB. We thought he's definitely got a sub 60 in him. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. It's just what happened was after the pace dropped out, because they only paced to 5K because Sokowo didn't get his visa, our pacemaker, so we were struggling there. But then it turned very, very tactical between Yimmer, Mark Scott, Acklew, and Communing. So they were just doing the dance basically until the last K. Yeah. Great watching it, because we're a world record.
Oh yeah, Yimmer's awesome, man. I watched him a couple years in Ras Al Khaimah. He can move.
Yeah,
he's got serious leg speed.
Brilliant. And then obviously Mo Farah was on the commentary with us, who's obviously raced him quite a fair few years. So he was able to tell us much more sort of succinctly what was going on, just when they're doing it and why they're doing it. So no, it was good. But yes, as I think to answer your question, coming back in a very roundabout way, I thought the world record was always on, because Laura, you've been around athletics a lifetime. When you see someone very confident and they're in that frame, and it was. I mean, I was lucky enough to be involved with Nyen, train with Nyen when he was breaking world records, and it was the very same. So, yeah, I thought if we got lucky, we would break the world record.
So, Ruth, last year you had Mo running, and did that create a huge amount of news for you?
I still can't get over the Mo effect that happens. It just brings a whole level of interest, and people just love him. And
oh my gosh,
no, it was
the fans adore him, and he's actually really good. He's
very totally generous with his time.
Yeah, and it's I have a great relationship with him because I ask him track and field questions, and in 2015 we were in Birmingham at the GP, and they were just going off. There was 36 questions, and 34 were not about track and field. And I got the 35th question. It was Cathal Dennehy and I asked him a question about running 3000s, and Cathal asked about a 1500. And Ricky Sims just looked at Mo and said, "Are they asking track questions?" And it's just that kind of thing, And it's like it's trying to understand also what our readers want to learn about too, and it's they're fascinated with him. I think as much on this side of the pond as you guys do. Now, how far do you live from the race course? Is it in a town near you?
Well, yeah, we live above the harbour, about 100 meters above Larne Harbour, and that's actually the you can see the 2 mile marker. So it's
cool.
Laurie, we could hit golf balls at them if we were.
Wow.
If we were really good. So yeah, it's we're right beside the course, so it's good. It's good, but yeah, not too far to travel.
So how is it being a couple directing a race? Is that challenges?
I'll
Or do you
have an
like
idea. I'll have an idea, and then Ruth will correct it.
No, my
it's
I
good.
think we work quite well.
We work well.
We complement each other. You know, James does a bit I couldn't do, and I do the bit that James can't do, and I rein him in. Is basically how it works out.
Well, I admire you for that. No, my brother and his girlfriend run an art gallery in San Jose, and they've done it for 20 plus years. And I watch them, and I'm fascinated how they break stuff up. But they both have their areas of interest, right? And it complements each other. And I think that's really fascinating. Do you do more than one race? Do you do a series of races? Or?
No, we'll make this one big, and then we'll roll it out. So it's we want to really just, we want to make it one of the biggest half marathons in the world. I think it'd be great it's Ireland's first World Athletics labels road race. So we'll be going for elite status next year, which hopefully we'll get with the world record, and then go from there. I think.
Are you looking for sponsorship right now?
Yeah, we are. We are looking for sponsorship because obviously with COVID, Laurie, it was mangled. And if anybody got any sponsorship, you were doing very, very well. I think the commercial side of it was very, very difficult. Now, we were incredibly lucky that the government and the council have been massively supportive. When I say massively supportive, it's effectively their event with ours.
That's fantastic.
So they've been good. So it's they get it. They get what we're trying to do. In terms of bringing people into Northern Ireland, we didn't get as many people from North America as we'd like this year because obviously the ones that did enter, I think when the entry opened last year, within the first day, the 10 first entries were from America, believe it or not.
Wow.
But they're all deferred to next year because we couldn't, they couldn't really effectively travel. So that was frustrating, but certainly from the elites, we want to use the elite field to bring in the masses, and there'll be a big American contingent next year. There's no doubt about that. So hopefully that'll spark the American interest. It's I don't want to give a party political broadcast for Northern Ireland, but it is one of the most beautiful roads in the world. It's a beautiful area. So no, we definitely we would love to see as many North Americans as possible.
Where would people stay? Would they stay in Belfast or would they stay in the towns near the race?
Well, it's funny because we booked out every hotel in County Antrim pretty much and bed and breakfast this year. It was nuts, but there's lots of places. We'll be putting them on the website anyway, Laurie, in time. So you'll be able to book accommodation via the website. We'll work with 5 or 6 hotels. We had 900 rooms in the university as well, so we've got different tierings.
Cool.
So yeah, so we'll definitely, and then obviously when they land, we've got a shuttle service, which is part of it. So you just get collected from the airport and so on and so forth. So we try to help the best we can, make it
easy.
Make it easy if people are coming over to the race. But no, it's hopefully it'll be a lot more cosmopolitan next year.
Well, that sounds really well. There'll be are beverages allowed? You're not in a dry county or anything like that.
No. So well, it's funny you say that. So we had at the finishing hub, we had circus acts like fire breathers, graffiti artists, and then there was live music, live entertainment with Larne Football Club had their bar. So there's just a type of a festival feel. And then many people would have heard of them in America, but they're quite famous in the UK because they're making their second film. It's about to get released. Fisherman's Friends did the after party. So,
nice.
So all the elites, all the mass runners had bought tickets for that, and they got to meet all the superstars, the Joe Pavies, the Yehualaws, the Mo Farahs. So I know Mo was dragged from pillar to post in that, but he loved it. So he was. Mo, so he was very engaged.
He gets a kick out of it. He likes that stuff.
He does. So no, it was actually very, very real good festival atmosphere for the after party, and obviously making the world record. There was that level of excitement because all the people that were there were either, from your 3-hour half marathoner right through to the 63-minute women runner. So it's every single one of the elite was at the after party, and pretty much a fair few locals and the masses as well.
How did BBC cover it? Did they give you guys some coverage?
Yeah, they covered the whole thing. And believe it or not, you're going to laugh, Laurie, but myself and Mo were the commentary. So it was.
I'm going to download that. I've got to watch.
There was a lot of banter. It was maybe slightly less impartial than they would have liked, but no, it was.
That's good.
It was. Yeah, it was brilliant. It was. They were again. BBC Northern Ireland, they put it out to a global audience, so it's definitely there. We're putting on our YouTube platform this evening, actually, so you will be able to see it just via our website or
awesome.
So that you'll see the whole race, you'll see the whole course. So for anybody that does want to see it, go onto Antrim Coast Half Marathon YouTube channel or on our website.
All right, we will get it. We will get them both tweeted out this afternoon. No, I watch Crammy and Hutchings do the Diamond League because I like the American TV group, but they just talk too much, and I like to kind of watch the races and stuff. But the banter is what's fun. I mean, I just remember when Mo ran that 3:28, Hutchings reminded Cram that Mo would just run faster than him.
Yeah,
and there was a
record, a UK record.
It was beautiful. It was just like
how did you take it?
Just kind of quiet for a second, and then there was a little bit about, well, we'll see how the president of World Athletics responds.
No, it was not bad for a marathon runner, was it?
No. Wow, no. It just in Northern Ireland, are a lot of people planning to go to the London Marathon in the next month?
Yeah, they will do. They will do because I mean, most people now, I think really nearly 80%, probably 80% of the population has been double vaccinated, so it's taken the edge off it. So there's no restrictions in travel. You'll still wear masks, if you're getting up boarding a plane or so on and so forth. But really, it's Ruth had mentioned it, that lateral flow testing. You'll get tested the morning of, or maybe even some people do it the evening before if they're not in contact with anyone else.
Sure.
Go to the race if they've tested positive. So it does, negate a lot of the risk.
It's opened up a lot of events around the UK, different sorts of events they're using the lateral flow test. It means as well that people who are not vaccinated have the opportunity to also attend all of these things.
Do you... not trying to get political or anything, but just in Northern Ireland, is there an issue about getting vaccinated for some people?
The uptake around the UK has been very, very good.
Okay.
There isn't. I know that in other countries there's been a bit of a hesitancy about getting the vaccine, but no, as Jim says, nearly 80% of the UK population as a whole have got vaccinated, and the uptake has been good.
Yeah, so I go between Wisconsin and California. California's about 60%, Wisconsin's about 40%. And in the rural areas, there's a lot of people who don't buy it. And it's just like, I got it as soon as it was available. And because it's the only way my son would let me travel. And, it's just, I was just very curious, and I've heard, I wanted to go to some of the late season meets this year, but I also understand each country is kind of changing things right now. So, I really think the travel, keep our fingers crossed, travel will be getting better as we get later into the year. So did you get to talk to Yalemzerf afterwards?
Yeah.
Was she pretty happy?
Oh, delighted. Yeah, just said she's tried. It was literally her third time lucky. So, which is another reason why we thought she'd break it. She ran 64 twice, and then She said yes. She tried. This is her third time trying, and she's just delighted to have broken it in Larne. So that was really nice.
That's cool.
And lovely. She's a lovely woman. So it's just really is lovely. Just very, very unaffected. And she was at the after party, Laurie. She gave me her vest. She gave me her vest. Gave Ruth her shoes.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
So it's just looking at your vest there in the back. That's what we'll be doing with that one. So yeah, that she was just lovely, and she wants to come back, and you can't really ask for much more than that.
No.
Obviously, the people of Northern Ireland as well. In terms of you talk about Mo, but she'll be moving into that bracket as well because everyone was just behind her. I mean, she really did get a lot of support out in the course, which was good.
Mm-hmm. Now, on the course, are you giving splits every K, every mile, or how?
No. So obviously, the old Imperial British, we were giving it in miles,
Good.
and then said, no, you better change that to Ks. So we were like, right. So we went out and changed it to Ks. So actually, there were both. So the K markers were ratified, and then in the middle of the road, so you're sort of like the Giro or the Tour de France, in the middle of the road, they were graffitied with miles. So
Wow.
you could take both.
Yeah, I was with Haile back in, oh my gosh, 2003 for a 25K. He did world records at 10 miles, 20K and 25K. And we had to have the Ks out and the miles out, and I followed them around for the whole day. We started at 5:30 in the morning, him playing pool and beating all his pacers. And, which was a lovely day to start the way to start your kind of day. So I'm always fascinated with how athletes kind of put things together. Having Mo in your first year, pretty awesome. Having a world record in your second year, pretty awesome. So what do you two got planned for next year?
We'd like to increase its strength and depth because, gone are the days where you just book a flight and bring people over. I was chatting to the agents and it's just like, working with the global guys and Malcolm Anderson as well from Moyo Sports.
Sure.
Literally, it was, I was going to say it was 4 or 5 months. It was longer than that. It was unbelievable. So we'll definitely work on the strength and depth line. We want to see Mo back. So he had a tough year. He said he was definitely coming, and then he broke his foot before the trials, but he still said, no, I'm still coming, which is really, really cool. I think we'd like to see him back, and let's hope there's going to be a few more NN athletes as well. There definitely will be on the male side, so we're looking at a few. Hopefully we can get a few of their headline male runners over as well.
That's awesome.
Just consolidate and be consistent. Let's deliver a good race every year.
Mm-hmm.
We will cap the mass race, Laurie, at 10,000 this year, just to see. It's not like a Valencia or a New Delhi where you've got 3 lanes of motorway. It's a coast road built in 1841 with a lot of tunnels through it. So we'll cap it at 10,000 this year, just to gradually increase our numbers, and then see how many people the course can actually take.
What's the footing like?
Oh, brilliant. It's a great road. It's just narrow. It's a beautiful road. It really is a beautiful road. It's narrow.
Okay. What's the date for the next event? Have you set up a date yet?
So the entry actually opens tomorrow, the 1st of September, for the early entry. So it'll be, there's an offer of £35 for anyone in the UK or Ireland, and then international entries will only be £40 between the 1st of September and the 30th of November. And then we would rather just, it'll fill very quickly. So that's the first thing. So we'd rather just get it filled and then look at our numbers, and then it makes it easier to plan the logistics. So that was sort of the thought process behind it. And then subject to numbers, we may or may not open it again around April. We'll make that call.
Mm-hmm.
So your event next year will be in August again?
August the 28th. So it'll be that Sunday, the 28th of August, that bank holiday weekend. So it means after the after party, people in the UK and Ireland will go to work, because it'll usually be, I know it was a 5 a.m. job this year, Laurie. So,
wow.
And that was basically all the elite back to the hotel, and a lot of other people. But no, it was great. So it was certainly a festival feel. So
that's awesome.
It was good, because obviously they were celebrating. So it was good. We're not sure who the act is next year, but it'll definitely be a headline.
Wow, that's cool.
There's as much work goes into that, Laurie, as the actual race, but I'm sure you know that anyway from events.
It's pretty much a year-long thing for you guys.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, the planning starts. The planning started now, really. So after all the 20. Sorry.
Have you had a shoe company support you in this one?
No, we haven't.
Okay.
But I'm happy to hold off. Coming from a shoe company, I'm happy to hold off for as long as possible in that one. So
Sure. No, I cheers. I understand that completely. Yeah.
so we'll get it as big as we can. But yeah, it's always good to have offers. But the longer they stay out, the bigger you get, the better it is.
Yeah, I think so. James, do you miss your days racing?
Yeah, I do. But you move on, and this is the next best thing. So it's sort of been, when I was in one of the shoe brands, as you know, for nearly a decade. So you learn sort of the commercial side of it, and then you go back to maybe what you love, sort of the cool face of it.
Sure.
So and now all the ones that I shared a room with Mo back in the day, as you know, and then so now he's coming towards sort of the autumn of his career, and he's mentoring a lot of the young ones. So it's the younger ones when I was leaving you're still in contact with them, and they're still doing
Sure.
favors, and they basically, Laura, if you want me to be honest, built the field.
Oh yeah. No.
Well, that's word of mouth, isn't it? That's how it works.
Yeah, no, I think if you treat people well and there's a fun and there's not a lot of pressure and they can race and have a good time, I think that's really key. Those are the races that I think there's a lot of big races out there. And if you don't develop your race, like I know what Tom and Jade Bedford do in England with they found a way to do something. They built it over, 5 years and watched each year as they kind of added things. And it's really fascinating to see what you both are doing and in taking one thing at a time. And, again, having Mo first year is lovely, having a new world record the second year, and people talking about coming back and bring a few Americans over, the Americans.
We've tried to make Laurie the course, I don't want to labor that point, but it makes it much easier for attracting world-class runners. We've tried to make the course is very visual. There's no doubt about that. It's stunning. I don't think there's a nicer course in the world. I am biased, but it is beautiful. But we've tried to make it very, very fast. So as soon as you get out of the town section, you're effectively running downhill for 8 miles.
Wow.
So, and it's legal.
Yeah.
So it's very fast. Now, obviously, you can get conditions where, like London last year or a coastal route, like anywhere else, you can get bad conditions. But, if you get the rub of the green, it's a very, very fast course. That attracts runners. Yeah, it's an amazing, fun festival, carnival type atmosphere, very relaxed. And everybody, my technical meeting is right. I want everybody to run as fast as they can. Everybody gets it effectively, but the course is very, very fast. So that helps massively because, if you said, I want you all to come over, and then you're faced with a massive hill in it, it's a tougher, we do a half marathon, it's better to do it in 63 as opposed to 73, isn't it? So it's, so I think that comes into the thinking a lot as well.
Cool. Ruth, what's the average temperature like?
Ooh, that time of
15.
year? Yeah.
15. I think it was 21. It was 21 through the week, the whole way through the week, and then it dropped to 15. It was worked well.
Good for the runners, less good for me. I was a bit cold.
Modest humidity?
Yeah.
It's coastal.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're dealing with 2 weeks of 97% humidity where I'm at right now.
Oh.
And it's just like I do my walks in the evenings and you just come back soaked.
Yeah.
It's just like, so I'm looking forward to California for a little bit. So it just, well, you guys have survived almost 40 minutes with me, and I don't see any sweat, so that's really good. But if you would send me the link for the website, we will put stuff up tonight about how early registration begins tomorrow, and we'll do a link to your site, and I'll do a link to the YouTube as well. But
that'd be super.
But thank you so much for your time, and we have been with Ruth and James McIlroy. Ruth is the race director, and James is the elite coordinator for the Antrim Coast Half Marathon in Northern Ireland. They had a world record yesterday, or actually on Sunday, excuse me, because today is Tuesday. And the early registration for 2022 starts on September 1st. and we're encouraging everybody to check it out. Great job, you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Larry, pleasure to see you again.
Hey, sports fans, Larry Eder, RunBlogRun, your favorite program, Socialing the Distance. This week we had a special treat. We had Ruth McIlroy and James McIlroy. They are from Northern Ireland, and Ruth is the race director. James is the elite athlete coordinator for the Antrim Coast Half Marathon. This is, according to James, the most beautiful course in the world. It's on a UNESCO site. In its first year, Mo Farah came over and ran a killer half marathon. This year, Mo did the TV with James and a young Ethiopian runner, and I'm going to take a wonderful attempt at her name. It is Yalemzerf. Yehualaw went 1:03:43. Yes, a new world record for women. First woman under 1 hour, 4 minutes. A brilliant race. There was about 7,100 people in the race. The after party went till 5 a.m. the next day, and many were there. And they love having Americans. And in fact, last year, the first 10 signups when the race went live were from Americans, although in 2020, they only had an elite race. This year, they had 7,100. There's and the new signups for 2022 will open tomorrow, September 1. Well, it'll open September 1. The link will be posted up on the site, and they're going to limit the field to 10,000. But it's I'm fascinated with how Ruth and James put on the race. They live a couple miles on the course. They say it's gorgeous, and James claims if he was a good golfer, he could hit a golf ball from his house onto the course. But it sounds magnificent, and the race, again, in his second year with some killer elite field. And Mark Scott, the Brit, ran 60:34 on it, and they said with a little bit of luck, he could get under 60. So they're hoping to see more Americans next year. So we'll keep our fingers crossed. And we're hoping that RunBlogRun can go over and cover it. So make sure you check this one out. Watch for further updates. And this is Larry Eder with Socialing the Distance. Today we talked about the Antrim Coast Half Marathon. Thank you to Mike Deering, our production manager, who managed this. And I was a little late today, so he even had to manage more. So such is life, but stay safe. Talk to you all soon.